just speak to any Nigerian fella. Once you see, at least you can identify them by the dress, the way they dress. Hey, how are you? You good? You doing the interviews? You doing the interviews? Or is it? All right.
You want to do our test now? You want to do our test now?
Yeah.
That too far. You not plug that?
No. You right up.
So you can get your voice properly.
Okay.
They even have a conversation.
Okay.
All right.
And they never reach out. They have no reason.
I think Chinese just think education because he's very enthusiastic about talking about sex.
Can you imagine that? So why everybody was saying they don't know the meeting by accident.
Accidentally ran into her.
Ready to test? Testing 1, 2.
Probably have the hand.
Testing 1, 2. Lucia, some confluence, William Jefferson Clinton, Hotel Sanders, côté la Cagny. Okay. Yeah, test.
Hello and a warm welcome to the live broadcast of the joint sitting.
And it is quite an auspicious event today here at the Sandals Grand at the William Jefferson Clinton Ballroom. No, I don't want to be able to do that, so I'm giving you that responsibility to just handle whatever interviews you can get, in other words. We want to do with you.
Coordinate at this point.
But you can work with Vernette as well, because she's around floating something. But you don't have a headpiece. Yeah, you need to be able to know for queuing and how.
Nothing like that. Nothing, brother. Nothing.
and it went bad. And what happened? You all had that stuff and it went bad over time.
We used to have it a long time ago. A long time. What they do is they just show you a board.
Yeah, it was yes, William Jefferson Clinton.
The introduction must be brief, you know, because
Yeah.
if we have to take Alva.
Are we still starting in 2 minutes?
We started in a while.
Okay, let me ask. So he said he will prompt him a message.
That's when you will minister for the
Okay,
environment.
and then you're the official, I guess. So I'll message you.
Okay.
Okay. But you need, where are you seated though? Because where are you going to sit?
That's it.
I wish you could sit somewhere close here, like so that you could just, you know.
You're messaging.
Yes, please.
Over there.
What they put you behind here? Yeah, but it's in terms of logistics, it'd be better for you to be. Unless if you have something that you need to do over there. But I'm just thinking it'd be easier for you to run in and out.
The
And,
minister.
yeah.
When you're doing that job, you have to be on your feet when you're playing the role of runner, coordinator, leaders for interviews. You have to be on your feet. So we project. That was not her mindset, but
Yeah, press secretary, yes. You have to be versatile.
yes. Under the circumstances where we couldn't get
Everybody's
hold
doing it
of
on the fly.
Yeah, we couldn't get hold of no one. We were saying, is he coming with media? Is he not coming with media?
He has a lot of media.
I think they are also
So
Caribbean
why
media.
external was not sharing that with us?
Hello. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, is that?
I don't see him.
The president is not there either.
Which president? The Senate or the president of Nigeria? You don't want.
Nigeria.
Oh no. He won't be coming in until the actual. Remember, there's a guard of honor first in any case.
Oh, yeah.
They will
So
only
you'll
come
be
in
on
the room
outside. Yeah.
when it's the actual
Ready
start.
to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to come to attend the guy and then come back?
No. So he will be. I suppose that upon his arrival at 9:45, there'll be a guard of honor. Okay. I know we don't have much time here. I think we'll do it pretty quick. At least, if not before, then after. Yeah. And you can see some people in the room, like the Director General of the OECS, Dr. Lucia, the High Commissioner from the United Kingdom, Senator's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Mr. Ahmed. I see also Mr. Gilbert Shaguri, Senator's
Where is he?
ambassador to UNESCO.
Yeah,
He's sitting
I
on
just
the
know
far
the name,
end.
I don't know the face.
If you stand, he's sitting to the. If you see Didika's Jules, he's left of Didika's.
Okay, okay, all right.
Wearing glasses.
Yes.
Black frame
Yes,
glasses.
yes.
Mr. Bradley Felix is there. Opposition.
Where is Alan Shastley?
You have the names.
He hasn't. I don't see him as yet. I see the minister coming. I suspect that might be for the interview. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
Hi, minister.
You're not ready, or you'll have to do the intro.
We have.
But you have to introduce first.
Morning, sir.
Not too bad.
Banata. How are you?
Presidents on Creole.
You have been fit.
What's up, come
We haven't quite started yet, as you can see, but we're hoping to start as soon as we get the cue.
So what is it you all want me to do for
You
you?
have to.
Is this
And
just a
then
quick,
just a very short,
summary?
the significance of the
We'll not have
state
to.
visit, the importance of
Interview
South-South
now.
relations. Just very general,
All right.
you know.
How are you? How are you, Mr. Minister? Well, but he says you
Okay, so what's going to happen is this. As soon as he leaves, as soon as they leave with Jama, they get the call.
They're briefing.
We start, you know, do a little thing, and we're going to get them coming up. So the interview now.
afterwards.
Also, so it cannot be before. Okay, is that okay with you? You're saying that we, because based on how they're setting it up, yes, it'll be towards the end after he has spoken, after the sitting is.
No problem.
Because of the tightness now.
Why more?
So you'll be more commenting on, I suppose, the event. Yes. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, but I cannot see them.
So we're trying to get the interviews after the actual sitting is but you just confirm who it will be and then we can, and you know it already. Yeah. So once again, outside we have it.
We'll not move the chair. Nobody not to move.
Oh, I think the minister was sitting there for a split second.
To block. Okay. All right.
So we want interview. We got to interviews now, yeah?
No. After.
Turn it right so that somebody will not sit on it.
Yeah.
Turn it.
No, leave it there. Leave it low.
Turn it so that somebody will not want to come and sit.
Because we don't want it to be occupied. What?
You don't want somebody to sit and come and sit on it.
Yeah.
Sit on it for
You
That's a people looking for seats. Oh my God, that light is blinding. You're looking at
Yeah, we'll have to join Richmond somehow.
No, he gone already. Forget it.
Well, if they have technical issues and they want to kill time.
No, well, we prefer just to talk
Yeah.
because we already told him.
Yeah,
yeah.
that thing, Alva will not like that.
You'll need, but how much talking time do they want?
Yeah, because there's more than enough to talk about. We'll just talk about, you know.
Wait, let me see you. Let me see you.
Where are camera people? They should be getting a shot. Not our camera, but like, you know, the still shot.
OPM, the OPM team, comms team.
Where's the prep?
Me?
He's around.
Yeah, we there.
He's taking photos.
Are you getting me? Bienvenue et bonne écoute pour Nouvelle Créole. Okay.
Hello and welcome to the live broadcast of the Guard of Honor and the special seating of the...
Okay. Hello. Don't hold the mic so close.
Ready?
Waiting for it. No, but they call it on that phone.
Ready? Get my phone. Ready? What is it for?
No, I'm not calling it over. Wait about this one. Just take it there.
Yeah, the starting of what we can control. Where is the minister?
No,
The minister, because of what we were told originally, we told him after.
Okay, well, I'll call him because
So-
we cannot get the signal from outside. So we're going to start inside.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So the living room jammer and a convoy, two. Okay, so we're just setting the stage.
Right.
And they've left already. So pay attention to the left to see where it comes. Try and get the minister.
Try it.
I'll get vexed.
Sorry, brother. Sorry. I'll avoid getting up again.
Sorry, it was just.
Did you get up?
I did. I went to
Right.
Melissa.
Okay. McLean, but when the minister comes back, the minister is coming back. The minister is coming. Hello and a very warm welcome to you, our viewers, as we bring you the live broadcast of the sitting of the House of Parliament and the Senate, and we are here at the Sandals Grand Hotel. there was a move from Parliament building in downtown Castries to facilitate the sheer numbers of invited guests, members of Parliament, and the delegates from overseas who are here for this special occasion as we celebrate the state visit by the Nigerian President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has been on island since Saturday. And with me, I have Mr. Michael Gaspar, our Creole expert, and Mr. Calix George Jr. And to kick off our broadcast, we are going to speak with the Minister of External Affairs, whom I believe Calix has definitely been pivotal in ensuring that all is in place for these very, very important state visits. And we hope to learn a lot while we speak with him. And of course, Michael, I believe that the President Tinubu, has certainly had an opportunity to appreciate some of St. Lucia's hospitality and natural splendor.
Oui, je voulais dire bonjour et bienvenue pour une session tellement spéciale qui a fait en place Hôtel Sanders, qui a créé William Jefferson Ballroom. C'est une place très spéciale avec là ici qui a une session parlement aujourd'hui côté des chambres et des niveaux en parlement. Ça c'est là avec qui consiste même c'est même électé qui joint ici pour recevoir l'adresse par président Nigeria, Monsieur Excellency, ça c'est Bola Ahmed Tinubu, qui est venu ici, il y a chaque dignité aussi sorti Nigeria, sorti Saint-Lucie, avec aussi sorti au Wonka, ces pays, particulièrement ces pays OECS là.
And of course, good morning, Claudia and Michael, and of course to all our listeners in St. Lucia and around the world. And of course, thank you very much for joining us on this very historic and momentous occasion as St. Lucia welcomes and continues to welcome, as part of a state visit, the President of Nigeria. Of course, you would have joined us for his welcome on Saturday afternoon, a very rainy Saturday afternoon, but certainly thankfully the weather held up for the actual military Guard of Honor, which of course he was accorded to this morning. In fact, for the state visit, for the opening, the special sitting of the House and the Senate, he's also going to be accorded a Guard of Honor upon his arrival at the Sanders Grand property here at Pigeon Island Causeway in Grosley. Of course, President Tinubu is coming from the most populous country in Africa, Nigeria. It is an emerging giant. It's part of the BRICS. I think a lot of those who've heard about the rise of the South are familiar with BRICS. And in fact, President Tinubu is in between two significant meetings. He was just in Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, participating in the Exim Bank, Africa Export-Import Bank's annual meetings. And that in fact brought together a number of persons from the Caribbean as well, including Prime Ministers Dickon Mitchell and Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew of Grenada and St. Kitts and Nevis respectively. They in fact are also here. They got onto a direct flight, 8-hour flight to be here as well, to be part of this dialogue which is going to be happening between the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, and Nigeria. And following this visit, in fact, he's also going to be heading to participate in a BRICS summit, which is happening in Brazil. We're so very pleased, of course, that we can see the remarkable turnout for this very auspicious event. Parliament is here in full. I think when we talk about Parliament, it's the Governor General, Head of State, the Senate, and the House of Assembly. So I think the only person who's not here is the Governor General, and that's deliberate. But of course, he did meet His Excellency the Governor General yesterday as a courtesy call, as well as the Honorable Prime Minister. Those courtesy calls happened in the afternoon. Now, in just a bit, I think we're standing by for a very special interview, Claudia and Michael, and that is with the External Affairs Minister, who you mentioned, of course, is very pivotal to ensuring that all of these things have in fact happened. And so we are about to bring him on. Of course, the Ministry of External Affairs is one of the lead agencies responsible for executing this undertaking of state visits. And what is also very notable, Michael and Claudia, is that St. Lucia is a very small country. We're 186,000 people, and we're hosting a president of a country 223 million people. And in fact, a very interesting aspect there is that, do you know, Michael and Claudia, that 1 in 5 black people in the world is a Nigerian. So certainly a very, very significant country in terms of the development of South-South cooperation. And of course, to tell us a lot about the importance of South-South cooperation, we are so very pleased to have with us the Honorable Alva Baptiste. He is the Member of Parliament for Labrie Auger, and of course the Minister with responsibility for External Affairs and Civil Aviation and International Trade, I believe, as well. Welcome, sir, and thanks very much for joining us on the sidelines, the margins of this joint sitting of the Senate and the House. Tell us, why is this visit by President Tinubu important to St. Lucia?
As you know, Calix, many years ago we took a very important cabinet memo, to the cabinet of ministers to ventilate and to discuss how we can engage more fully with the African continent. We unanimously adopted the provisions in that particular memo, and obviously today is an offspring of that deliberate effort to forge closer relations with the African countries. No doubt, state visits are very powerful symbols of cooperation, mutual understanding, respect, and a commitment for us to use the tools of the diplomacy to advance mutual interest, whether it is cultural, economic, or social in nature. So today's visit will actually manifest itself in a very important way for us, as it will create an improved framework for us to match our basic needs with greater possibilities. A few days ago, I met with the Foreign Minister of Nigeria, and we have begun discussions as to how we can strengthen our internal machinery to ensure that we cooperate on new levels. Health is one of the key areas that we are exploring. And as you know, we depend on tourism as an engine for economic growth. There is more disposable income, according to research, among the elderly in North America. And as you get older, the probability of you suffering from an ailment, would be much greater. So the elderly would like to know, when they visit a destination in the Caribbean or elsewhere, that there is a healthcare system that is robust enough to at least stabilize them in the event that they fall sick in that destination. So you need to develop your health system to be able to support not just the needs of the local population, but of course to continue to diversify your tourism products. So I think this will be a significant takeaway from that particular visit, and we must not trivialize it. As a matter of fact, we never know when the next pandemic may show its ugly head in our country, in our region, and there will be a global issue, if at all it would metamorphose into that type of morbid scenario. So I think we are on the right path of charting the true and real development of our country. And we are going to align with countries that will assist in the process of moving forward together, cooperating, so that we can extract mutual benefits from this particular relationship.
Wonderful. Thanks so very much for sharing with us, of course, that. And Your Excellency, Mr. Minister, we actually are seeing some live footage of the convoy of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the 16th President of Nigeria. And he is, in fact, just coming along the Pigeon Island Causeway. I think it's called Matalon Drive. And he will soon be entering the Sandals Grand property to the south or the left, and where a guard of honor is in fact awaiting him on arrival to this joint sitting of the Senate and the House. Honorable Minister, I mean, you spoke, of course, about the future, but already there are some very tangible things that are happening, even in St. Lucia, by way of assistance through the Africa Export-Import Bank, isn't there?
Yes, definitely. And like I said, it is just to further our relations with countries on the African continent. And we sometimes forget that places like Morocco, actually, on the African continent. And we have extensive relations with Morocco to support our farming community and other areas of our development. So we are proceeding in the right direction. And obviously the time will come for us to have a very focused discussion on the way forward as a country in terms of how we diversify our foreign policy options.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Minister. And I realize that we are just about to see the arrival at Sandals Grand of His Excellency Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the President of Nigeria. And of course, we're going to allow you, Honorable Minister, the opportunity to go to your seat, because I know the ceremonial part of these proceedings is soon to start.
Thank you. Muchas
Thank
gracias.
you very much.
Merci. Balata.
Eh bien, nous on fini de parler là, et puis le ministre qui est responsable pour les affaires étrangères, il a dit nous exactement qui manière, qui significance visite ça là, avec nous à présent Kawe, ça c'est président Nigeria, et à la cour hôtel là, qu'a pensé qu'à salut, il on the way, et puis on salute qu'à de route là pour ces polices là.
Yes, Michael, and just to take our viewers through the order paper, the prayers will be done by Archbishop Gabriel Malze, opening remarks by the Honorable Alvino Reynolds, President of the Senate, message by His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu will follow. And then we will have a message from the Honorable Prime Minister Philip J.
Sir, good morning and welcome to the Guard of Honor for the joint sitting of Parliament at our beautiful Sandals Grand. My name is Elvis Thomas and I am your commander. The Guard of Honor is formed of 2 ranks, the Royal St. Lucia Police Band and 1 platoon from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us today. I now seek your permission to carry on with the remainder of the parade. Guard of Honor! Shoulder! Arms! Royal salute! Present! Arms!
We just witnessed the Guard of Honor and, of course, the Royal St. Lucia Police Force Band, in fact, playing the national anthem of Nigeria. Nigeria, We Hail Thee was the original anthem of Nigeria back in 1960 when they attained independence, but it was actually changed in 1978. And then, in fact, quite recently, just last year, under President Tinubu, it reverted to this original national anthem. Of course, it was also preceded by the national anthem of St. Lucia, and of course that is Sons and Daughters of St. Lucia. His Excellency has now made his way into Sandals Grand, into the hotel itself in the lobby, and he is going to be making his way into the William Jefferson Clinton ballroom very shortly. Of course, he will be preceded by the mace, the Sergeant at Arms. Of course, it is a typical joint sitting of the Senate and the House of Assembly. And as mentioned by Claudia, the presiding officer will in fact be doing the welcome following prayers, which will be led by the Archbishop of Castries, His Grace. And of course, we are standing by. It is a packed house, one can say, Claudia, and with certainly quite a number of individuals who are present from all walks of life in St. Lucia. I'm seeing some very stunning outfits, including some African wear being present, national wear as well. Of course, there are a number of visiting ambassadors. Of course, we also are welcoming heads of government from the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States.
Nous avons qui à présent, président qui est entré dans la chambre, côté tous ces dignitaires qui ont expliqué, comme on dit, ces dignitaires, c'est sorti de Nigeria, sorti de Saint-Lucie, même Parlement, c'est speaker qui est constitué en temps passé. Un pile dignitaire qui est à présent représenté le pays en différentes façons, qui est entré à présent, qui en disant que l'occasion, c'est à côté autant qui est président Nigeria, c'est Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, qui a adressé des questions, qui a commencé, et puis on l'adresse pour bienvenir tout le monde par le président Sénat. Enfin, avant ça,
we can see the arrival of the Prime Minister.
Yes.
Let us pray.
We begin in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Almighty God, by whom alone kings reign and princes decree justice, and from whom alone cometh all counsel, wisdom, and understanding, we thine unworthy servants have gathered together in thy name, do most humbly beseech thee to send down the heavenly wisdom from above, to direct and guide us in all of our consultations, and grant that we, having fear also before our eyes, and laying aside all private interests, prejudices, and partial affections. The result of our counsel may be the glory of thy blessed name, the maintenance of true religion and justice and safety, honor and happiness of the king, the public weal, peace and tranquility of St. Lucia, and the uniting and knitting together of the hearts of all persons and estates within the same, in true Christian love and charity, one towards another, through Christ our Lord. Heavenly Father, God of all peoples and nations, we gather together in unity of Caribbean nations, the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, to welcome His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and his entourage. As we come together, we are reminded of the importance of unity and peace. In the letter of St. Paul to the Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 3 to 6, we read, "Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called to one hope when you were called, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all." In Psalms 133, he tells us how good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. We pray that this visit will strengthen diplomatic, economic, and cultural ties between our nations, bringing benefits to all. Lord, we acknowledge the importance of unity and cooperation in today's world. As the OACS has worked towards economic integration, common health initiatives, educational innovations, and disaster management, we welcome Nigeria's partnership in reaffirming the truth that cooperation and sustainable development are vital for our collective progress. May this encounter be a source of mutual blessing for Nigeria, the OASS nations, and the world at large. Bless today's proceedings and all events during the visit of His Excellency President Bola and the heads of the OECS. May we experience the peace, unity, and prosperity that you desire for all your people. We ask this through our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, God forever and ever. And may God's blessing be upon these proceedings in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Please be seated.
Your Excellency, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Honorable Prime Ministers and members of Parliament of Nigeria and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, invited guests, good morning. Mr. President, Your Excellency, it is a privilege and an honor to welcome you on behalf of the members of this Parliament to this special joint sitting of the Senate and House of Assembly of St. Lucia, convened on this rare occasion away from its usual chambers on Labrie Street in our capital city of Castries. Mr. President, Your Excellency, your presence here is historic, not only for this Parliament, but for the people of St. Lucia as a whole, represented here by the honorable members of the House of Assembly. For it was from these shores and lands of Nigeria and other West African countries that our ancestors and forefathers started arriving here in European slave ships in that infamous and horrible Atlantic slave trade that spanned over 350 years and shaped the history of the Caribbean and the Americas, as well as Africa. The slave census of 1815, conducted by the British government, revealed that of the 16,282 slaves in St. Lucia that year, 3,488 were born in Africa. Of these, Mr. President, 34% were from Nigeria, 11% from Nigeria, Cameroon, 22% were from the Congo. The remaining 12,794 were born in St. Lucia. The majority, their parents, came from Senegambia and Nigeria. Today, your arrival in St. Lucia commences a rediscovery of the bonds between the people of St. Lucia and the people of Nigeria. Today, your visit reignites a mission to reunite us with our homeland and for our people to work together. Your Excellency, it was a mission begun by one of St. Lucia's most esteemed sons, Dr. Darnley Alexander, a young man from our west coast town of Sufre, who went to Nigeria in 1957 as a legal draftsman and rose to become the Chief Justice of Nigeria from 1975 to 1979. The only non-Nigerian to hold that post since independence. Sir Darnley remained in Nigeria until his passing in 1989. This mission, Your Excellency, continues with Catholic priests from Nigeria who've answered the call and came to St. Lucia to serve, one of whom is our special guest this morning in the name of Father Festus. Your address to this Parliament today could not have occurred at a more auspicious time, for today is World Parliament Day, or International Day of Parliamentarism, an occasion to reflect on the essential role of parliaments and the service we provide as representatives to our people. Given your own fights, Mr. President, in the past for democratic governments in your country, it is a further honor to have you and the heads of governments of the OECS member states observe this day with us. And please allow me to pause as I acknowledge the visiting heads of government and the representatives from the OECS. The representative from the Antigua government, Honorable Chet Green. Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Honorable Dickon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada. Honorable Reuben Meade, Premier of Montserrat. Madam Bernadette Davis, Representative of Government from St. Martin. Honorable Terence Drew, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. And our own Prime Minister, Honorable Philip Joseph. Your Excellency, let me thank you once again for the honor of your presence here today, and as I now invite you to address this joint sitting. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Your Excellencies, it is a great honor for me. Let me, first of all, thank all of you here, my brothers and sisters, for the invitation and the great welcome afforded me. The hospitality has been great. The knowledge, experience, and feeling up to this moment is accelerating and very, very warm. I thank all of you. Your Excellencies. Your Excellencies, head of governments of the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, and the Governor General, honorable members of the Parliament, distinguished justices, esteemed religious leaders, members of the diplomatic corps, ladies and gentlemen. At this moment, I couldn't have started better over anything else but a great thank you and gratitude from my people, the joy of Nigerians, and privilege to be among you today. As one who has long held in the highest esteem the tenacity and spirit of the people of the Eastern Caribbean, setting foot on these splendid islands bears deep meaning. And that deep meaning is me. It is with great honor that I address this important gathering of member states of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS. I am indeed grateful for the generous invitation extended to me to visit this distinguished region. I wish to convey my heartfelt appreciation to the government and the people of St. Lucia for the gracious hospitality afforded my delegation and myself since our arrival in the Castries. As one who feels a profound kinship with our shared African heritage, I am fully aware of the historic current that has bound us together, current shaped by the transatlantic slavery, slave trade, and colonial subjugation, but out of which emerged a shared cultural identity, an indomitable resilience, and a legacy of aspiration. My presence here today symbolizes Nigeria's renewed commitment to re-engage with these enduring ties, recognizing the strategic and the emotional significance to all of us. This occasion serves as a testament to the enduring ideas of Pan-Africanism and to the unyielding desire for unity and collaboration among peoples of African descent. It is in this context that I reaffirmed OECS as a cherished partner of Nigeria. We remain committed to strengthening and expanding the enduring bonds of the friendship that unite our regions. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, Nigeria, as the most populous nation on the African continent and the foremost Black nation globally, we have long stood at the vanguard of advocacy for the dignity and advancement of Black people in the world over. This was evident from our strong position to colonialism and racial injustice. To its leadership in the Pan-African movement, our regional policy remains unapologetically Afrocentric. Notably, Nigeria played an instrumental role in the establishment of the Organization of African Unity, now the African Union, which has since embraced the Caribbean and the broader diaspora as the sixth region. Aside, its demographic and economic prominence in Africa, Nigeria has a rich history of enduring contribution to the advancement of our black race. It is home to the largest diaspora community of African descent and situated in West Africa, from where countless enslaved Africans were tragically taken. My country holds a special place in the collective memory of the diaspora. Culturally, Nigeria is regarded as the continent's creative heart, with its rich array of ethnicities and globally celebrated traditions in music, cuisine, fashion, film, today notably Nollywood and literature. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, when I assumed the office of the President of Nigeria in May 2023, my administration embarked on a series of economic and social reforms, which were aimed at laying a solid foundation to the promotion of a better Nigeria and to put the country on the path of sustainable growth and development. It is in line with this orientation and to explore areas of cooperation and collaboration between the Eastern Caribbean states that I decided to undertake this state visit to St. Lucia. It is in this spirit that I wish to express Nigeria's readiness to deepen cooperation with the OECS in the areas of mutual interest, including trade, investment, health, culture, education, and climate resilience. Enhance the trade and investment between our regions hold great potential for shared prosperity. Nigeria's vast mutual resources and its position as the largest market in Africa presents significant opportunity for the OECS, both as a source of essential input and as a growing export destination. Together, we can leverage our respective strengths to attract investments, create jobs, and foster joint ventures that benefit both our peoples. In advancing our shared development goals, I strongly advocate for educational exchange programs between Nigeria and OECS. Maritime universities, such as partnerships, will build technical capacity, but also foster mutual understanding and long-term academic collaboration. Beyond maritime education, both regions should explore joint scientific research initiatives, particularly in addressing common health challenges. To give structure to these efforts, we should formalize agreements that clearly define areas of cooperation in education and research. Equally important is collaboration in tackling urgent threats posed by climate change. By sharing research, findings on a climate impact, adaptation strategies, and disaster risk management, including rise in the sea level and outbreak of hurricane, we can deepen our understanding and enhance collective resilience. Joint efforts in promoting sustainable agricultural practices and addressing issues such as flooding and drought will also contribute to food security and reduce climate vulnerability in both our regions. It is essential that we invest in cultural and human exchanges that build mutual understanding from the ground up among our peoples, from ordinary to the leadership. I encourage the integration of Nigeria and OECS cultural awareness of our shared heritage, values, and traditions among future generations. Beyond education, we must also encourage more frequent visits between our peoples, allowing them to experience firsthand the unique cultural attractions and the historic sites that define our identities. In a concrete step towards this goal, Nigeria is open to exploring a visa waiver arrangement for holders of diplomatic and official passports from OECS member states traveling to Nigeria. I respectfully urge a reciprocal gesture to enable smoother movement of officials and foster closer institutional cooperation. Furthermore, Nigeria is ready to extend the services of Nigeria Technical Aid Corps to OECS countries. We will provide skilled professionals to support capacity building effort across all sectors in your region. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in consideration of the strategic importance that my country attracts to OECS, we have formally established diplomatic relations with St. Lucia. This diplomatic move is a symbolic bridge that will provide a gateway in fostering ties between us. To further deepen our partnership, I recommend that our two parties initiate negotiations towards a formal agreement on a joint commission or political consultation, such as framework that will provide structural platform to explore and advance cooperation across a broader range of mutually beneficial areas. Let me once again reaffirm Nigeria's commitment to nurturing the seed of friendship and solidarity we have planted here today. We value this relationship and are determined to see it flourish in the spirit of brotherhood, shared history, and vision of greater prosperity for our people. As we chart the course forward, I am reminded of this word of Marcus Garvey: get organized, and you will compel the world to respect you. His charge remains as resonant today as it was first made. Likewise, an African proverb teaches us, and I quote, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, go together. let us journey together, united in purpose and fortified by our common heritage. You and I have it enshrined in our DNA. Africa belongs to all of us. Today, to continue to promote that, I will establish full scholarship tuition for students of OECS. From cultural and student exchanges, I believe we can promote that economic and cultural understanding that will further strengthen the bond between us. I thank you very much for listening to me and giving me this opportunity. God bless St. Lucia, God bless OECS, and God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, Honorable Prime Minister, and Member for Castries East.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, Excellency, President of Nigeria, heads of state from OECS, members of Parliament of St. Lucia, our friends from Nigeria, good morning. First of all, Mr. President, let me thank you for the great news of the scholarships to the people of St. Lucia. It falls in line with our government's policy of providing every household in St. Lucia with one university graduate. Thank you sincerely. Our dear friend and respected President of Nigeria, President Tinubu, it's a great honor and a deep and heartfelt joy to welcome you and your distinguished delegation to my beautiful island home of St. Lucia. Mr. President, I have no doubt that you have been able to tell from the landscape and the people that you have met that St. Lucia has much in common with Nigeria, a small fragment of Africa. Our peoples have been separated, but nothing has ever been able to separate us spiritually and culturally from West Africa, where some of our ancestors came from, and for whom our hearts continually yearn. We are African people who have made permanent homes for ourselves on this side of the Atlantic, on the hills and valleys of the plantations on which we were enslaved, and along the seashores and the waterways that carried the slave ships which brought us here. But we have built these homes, Mr. President, not for ourselves, but in the service of all humanity, and especially Africa, in whose direction we continually watch, wait and hope and pray for our future redemption. Because we know, Mr. President, that Africa's future greatness will be our future greatness. Just as we know that Africa's current strides and successes are equally registered as successes for St. Lucia and for the Caribbean as a whole. It is for these reasons, Mr. President, that we feel untold joy, honor, and pride that our countries have taken this important step of reconnection At such an important moment in world history, when new alliances and realignments are taking place before our very eyes, when change is coming, and when the future role of Africa in the modern world can no longer be denied, but is on everyone's lips. St. Lucia is pleased to be standing at this important juncture with Nigeria by our side. But, Mr. President, I understand that St. Lucia, with a population of just over 180,000 people, is tiny compared to the mighty Nigeria with over 3 million. 300 million. St. Lucia's population is smaller than that of Iti-Osa, local government in Lagos State. And your long-term residents on Bordelio Street. But, Mr. President, despite its size, St. Lucia stands proud as a sovereign nation with a heart and spirit deeply connected to the world, to Nigeria, and to West Africa. We have a genetic Nigerian connection that cannot be erased, and a shared cultural cord that cannot be broken. We host a vibrant Nigerian community which continues to support and develop the island's healthcare, religious, and tourism sectors. We warmly welcome every Nigerian hand of support, and we embrace with gratitude the contributions to St. Lucia culturally, socially, and economically. Mr. President, you may be pleased to know that the parish priest in my constituency is from Nigeria. Mr. President, St. Lucia accepts your visit as an excellent opportunity to rekindle and deepen the existing bonds between our people and our countries. We recognize that despite the miles which separate us, and despite the differences in our land and population sizes, we have always been able to contribute mutually to each other's development. Despite our differences, we share the common strength of the quality and resilience of our people. Our people have always been aware of themselves as global citizens and has been among the best in the world in their respective fields. Many of our younger populations have forgotten that during the colonial period, significant numbers of Caribbean workers, including from St. Lucia, worked in the colonial service in Nigeria, particularly in the railway sector, but also in the wider civil service. Nigeria and St. Lucia also share a special pride in literary achievements. Two of the 3 Black Nobel laureates for English literature have come from our 2 countries. Nigeria's Wo Lisol Inca in 1986, and St. Lucia's own Derek Walcott in 1992. And the third being the female American novelist Toni Morrison in 1993. Mr. President, the legacies continue to inspire our people. We boast of a 2nd Nobel laureate, Sir Arthur Lewis, who won the Nobel Prize for Economics in 1979, and had himself been a close advisor to the first Prime Minister of Ghana. It would interest you to know that one of St. Lucia's distinguished jurists, Sir Danny Alexander, served as Nigeria's 4th Chief Justice from 1975 to 1979. Mr. President, your visit here today is coming exactly 27 years after the visit of Nelson Mandela, and 27 years is exactly the length of time Mandela spent in prison. So today is really a day of freedom and celebration. Mr. President, we have to ask ourselves why we have not had a more impressive record of Africa-Caribbean cooperation. Indeed, Mr. President, it was not until 2021 that the first Africa-CARICOM summit was held, almost 70 years after the independence of Ghana and 61 years after the independence of Nigeria. However, Mr. President, I'm pleased that following this first summit in 2021, we have committed ourselves to deeper relations and that we are committed to meet for the 2nd summit in Addis Ababa in September of this year. St. Lucia looks forward to working with Nigeria at the Africa CARICOM summit level as we work towards the joint development of our respective nations. Mr. President, the areas for our continued and future cooperation remain wide, varied, and fruitful. We are a small island state with tourism as our main economic driver. Currently, St. Lucia hosts over 1 million tourists annually. However, we have very few Nigerian visitors. We would like to host far more Nigerian visitors and hope that the time when Nigerians discover the hospitality of St. Lucia is very near. However, there are currently no direct flights connecting Nigeria and the Caribbean. Establishing an airlink would do much for St. Lucia's tourism and the wider Caribbean. St. Lucia would gladly be a facilitator if such a venture were to be economically viable. This connectivity would not only boost tourism, but also enhance trade, investment, and it would deepen the people-to-people exchanges and the cultural links between our populations. Mr. President, our peoples have never waited on the government to reach to Africa. Decades ago, Caribbean reggae artists like Garnet Silk made it their business to compose music which wrote letters of longing saying hello to Mama Africa. And Bob Marley sang the Pan-African song that calls for Africa to unite. Today, the young people of St. Lucia have rediscovered Afrobeats and Nigerian Nollywood films as the new vehicle for which they have reconnected to the African continent. Our appreciation of Nigerian musical taste and talent is deep, lasting, and strong. Only last year, Nigerian styles like Roga performed at the St. Lucia Jazz Festival, joined the ranks of previous Nigerian artists who have thrilled local and Caribbean audiences. And Mr. President, let me invite you to St. Lucia's next Jazz Festival. The infectious beats of Afrobeats and Nollywood films are cherished here and have become part of the cultural fabric, and your famous female writer, Ngozi Adichie, is on the reading list in many secondary schools in our Caribbean. Mr. President, given our historical connection, shared cultural taste, and existing friendship, it's my sincerest desire that we find ways to strengthen the cultural and economic ties that already exist between our two countries. If I may be more specific, I would like to encourage collaboration in the creative industries and foster exchange programs between Nigerian and St. Lucian artists, musicians, and filmmakers. In the area of sports, there are several opportunities for developing exchange programs in cricket and football among lovers of the two sports in our respective countries. I'm certain that Nigeria could be of great benefit in enhancing the skills and technical abilities of our aspiring St. Lucian footballers, and we can do the same for Nigeria in cricket. Mr. President, St. Lucia's banking sector is robust and growing and welcomes reputable Nigerian banks, investment houses, and fintech companies as partners in expanding investment opportunities and modern digital financial services. In our drive for greater use of renewable energy, we welcome Nigerian renewable energy companies to bring their technology, expertise, and equipment to support the island's sustainable renewable energy mix. Your country's regulatory and technical experience in the energy sector could help us accelerate the necessary reforms in our infrastructure. With an aging population, our healthcare system is in need of strengthening. So our doors remain open to Nigerian doctors, nurses, and specialists under Nigeria's talent export initiatives. Such a collaboration will enhance healthcare access and outcomes, potentially serving as a model for the wider Caribbean. I'm told that an agreement of technical manpower assistance will be signed with the Ministry of Health regarding our exchange of medical personnel from Nigeria, and I look forward to its implementation. Mr. President, it's my hope that this will not be your last visit. I look forward to visiting Nigeria in the near future. I also look forward to the day when we can formalize significant national partnerships and investment agreements that will be of mutual benefits to our two countries. I also look forward to continuing work with you as we advance the work of the Africa CARICOM Summit later this year in Ethiopia. Mr. President, on behalf of the people of St. Lucia, I extend once again a most heartfelt welcome. We are honored to have you, and we are pleased to stand alongside you on this historic occasion. May your visit mark the beginning of a new era of deep friendship, cooperation, and shared success between our people. I thank you, Mr. President, and God bless Nigeria and St. Lucia and our united futures. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on behalf of the people and Parliament of St. Lucia, I extend our heartfelt gratitude for your historic address during your official visit. Your presence marked a profound moment in our shared journey as descendants of a common heritage, and your words resonated deeply with our aspirations for unity, progress, and mutual respect. Your emphasis on strengthening ties between Africa and the Caribbean, particularly in areas such as economic development, education, health, and infrastructure, will inspire renewed commitment to collaboration. We are especially moved by your recognition of our cultural bonds and the enduring spirit that links our peoples across oceans. Your visit has not only honored our nation, but has also reaffirmed the importance of global solidarity rooted in shared values and history. We look forward to building on this foundation with purpose and pride. With heartfelt gratitude and highest esteem, we thank you, Mr. President. Deputy Prime Minister and Member for Castries South.
Move that the Honorable House of Assembly be adjourned to Thursday, July 3rd at 10 a.m.
Honorable members, the question is that this House stand adjourned to 10 a.m. on Thursday, the 3rd of July. I now put the question. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Sitting adjourned.
We've just witnessed the special joint sitting of the Senate and House of Assembly, and we heard from the President of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We also heard from the President of the Senate, Honorable Alfina Reynolds, as well as our very own Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, with the Speaker of the House, Honorable Claudius J. Francis, bringing the curtains down on the formal aspect of the proceedings. And to me, it resonated deeply that all of the speakers affirmed that we already share very deep and strong ties with Nigeria, and it is only natural that we come together and recognize formally our development bonds. There was something special for every sector of development in St. Lucia. The President touched on the area of health, he touched on agriculture, he touched on the creative industry, education, and it just sounds, Calix, like there is so much to look forward to.
And certainly it sounded like a very genuine speech which came from the heart. I think the message, it was full of history, it was full of good messages. And I love the African proverb line that if you want to go first, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together. And a very powerful message for us here in the OECS and CARICOM, and of course in terms of our relations with other members of the South at this time. Of course, we are seeing the magnificent ballroom now exited. I've seen the High Commissioner for Citizenship today, I think this great partnership, and other dignitaries leaving at this point. But of course the significance, I think, of this event, really effectively the first time that an African leader has come to address the Parliament of St. Lucia, when the President of South Africa came, Nelson Mandela. It wasn't a grand affair, there was a whole rally for it, but of course he didn't have this opportunity to give an address of that type. So very, very important, and it really set the stage for a lot of opportunities for cooperation in terms of education, the promise of scholarships, for example, the promise of technical assistance, and working together towards trying to achieve even direct flights to Africa, which is certainly something that I think would benefit both regions.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, it's interesting that the Prime Minister mentioned it's 27 years since we had the state visit by Nelson Mandela.
July 1998, almost to the day.
And would you believe that he was initially invited by CARICOM in 1975, but could not make it.
Wow.
So this is extremely profound, Michael.
All things in the right time, I suppose.
All things in the right time. Michael, share with us what captured your attention, your imagination from hearing the addresses by our speakers.
Claudia avec Calix a dit, le président parlait aux frontières, from the bottom of his heart, ou qu'a senti, puisque depuis parler, président parlait à son esclavage, expérience esclavage. C'est yon qui a touché monde, même si yo pas expérience esclavage, sorti Afrique privée pour passer ça nous passer. Mais yo a senti puisque yo perd famille, yo perd tout le monde. Avec nous a senti ça président dit nous là, c'est après c'est en réunion, après c'est a reunion. This is what we are expecting. Je suis bien content pour nous entendre le président parler, qu'on nous dit de manière ivrée, c'est Caraïbes là, pas seulement cette liste, mais OICS là, venir ensemble pour nous faire l'économie nous venir plus fort, échange culturel, tout le bagage. puis pour en finissement, nous avons tout le monde lady to get that scholarship.
Now Claudia and Michael, yes, but we actually have a very special interview which is lined up, and it is in fact with the Environment Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and his name is His Excellency Balaba Abbas Lawal. And so I believe you're going to be joining. He's ready to go. So we just need to do a very quick shot. Okay, and we can do that.
Okay, we can. Yes, you can leave now. Yes.
Yes, Excellency. Nigeria. Yes. Oh no, just one at a time. Just one at a time. Okay. So please. Oh, okay. So you want me to switch it? Yeah. Okay.
We need a quail.
Okay. Well then.
Let
okay,
him
let
do
me.
the interview, Claudia. Gaspar. I need you to translate.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you want? Okay, they want you in the center.
Yes.
Okay.
Good day, how are you?
And we're of course welcoming His Excellency to the St. Lucia. Of course, he is the Environment Minister for the Republic of Nigeria. Welcome to St. Lucia, sir. And of course, tell us about the experience thus far.
Thank you very much. We've been here for the last 2 days, and the experience has been quite fantastic. St. Lucia is a beautiful island country. Although this is not the first time I've been around here, this is the second or third time I've been here. I've been to Antigua and I was at Barbados recently. But St. Lucia is remarkably different from the two islands I've been to. And we are here because there are a lot of areas that we can connect with St. Lucia, particularly in the area of environment, which is particularly where I am really concerned about. But there are many other areas that we can work together in terms of trying to reconnect. The President made it very clear that we are the same people, we have the same history, the same culture, and we came from the same background. So I believe that it's long overdue that we have not been able to do this. So I'm so much happy that the President has taken the move to reconnect with not only St. Lucia, but all the other small island states that are around here. Recently, because of his commitment to our partnership with the Caribbeans, I attended the SEEDS conference that took place in Antigua last year, and that I think we are not a small island state, but I think we are there because we are committed to that. We believe that they are all factors. We have the same problem. We have large coastal lines. We have issues to do with high rising sea levels and things like that. So we have a lot to learn from these Caribbean states. So that's why we're here, and we believe that we are just reconnecting because, like the President mentioned, that we had one of our fourth Chief Justice of Nigeria, Dele Ganda, came from this part of the world. So I want to thank you very much for inviting me to this interview.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency. And of course, we do appreciate that climate change is impacting the entire world, including, no doubt, Nigeria as well. Cities like Lagos, right along the coast, are at risk as well in terms of rising sea levels.
That's why I believe that the President mentioned most of these issues of climate change. Climate change has been a very big issue for all of us, particularly areas where you have coastal rise in sea levels and all that. Around Nigerian coastal areas, we have lost so many communities to ocean surge. They've been taken over by the ocean completely. So we believe that we need to learn, because you experience this almost every day, because you are surrounded by the ocean. So this is something that it happens almost every day. So we need to look at this and address it. But Nigeria is a vast country, so coast is just one part of it. Because at the north, we are also confronting the encroachment of the desert. The Sahara Desert is creeping in very fast into the northern portion of Nigeria. So we have to now begin to think of how do we fence that particular portion of our country from the encroachment of the desert. That's why we come with so many policies, including what we call the Great Green Wall. That's we're trying to plant a wall of trees that will prevent the encroachment of the desert, and so many other things that we're trying to do to address that. Because normally, encroachment of the desert comes with drought, comes with the degrading of the land areas and all that. So we believe that there are so many areas in which we can learn from it. So we can learn how we can plant more trees. Recently, we are committed to planting about 4 billion trees to address that, because without that, there's no way we can actually address this massive surge in terms of the desert moving into the northern part of the country. So we are into that. So climate issues are very important to us. They have been part of what we have been struggling with. We have issues of flood, which also part of climatic issues that we are confronting.
Water management.
Yes, we have floods in areas that you least expect to have flood, because we have floods in the north. The north is quite dry, but when the rain falls, you find that the place becomes flooded. So I have to find ways and means of how do we now remedy the situation. We're looking at trying to find reservoirs of trying to store that what we call rain harvesting, trying to harvest it and use it for the future, and also trying to find ways and means of addressing what are the climatic issues that lead to this kind of floods, this kind of drought, and a number of climatic issues that affect Nigeria generally. We have a lot to do with also carbon emission, and that's part of why we're trying to increase our carbon bank. That is by planting more trees. We're trying to address the issue of plastic pollution, which is a big issue now, because even the maritime are now complaining of plastic impediment to the movement of the ships in the ocean. So there are so many areas that we can address, particularly with this. And I'm so happy to know that it's not only St. Lucia that is part of this bilateral, but it's more multilateral than bilateral, because most of the other island states are here to meet with our president later in the day. And I believe that so we're not only looking at the entire states around the Caribbean, particularly the Eastern Caribbean, that I think we're here. So I think it's very important to me. This is long overdue. We need to do this. We need to actually do more of this. And I'm happy that there was a connection with President Mandela earlier. So I believe that our president will now carry the mantle of leadership in trying to bring African support and African unity with the Caribbean.
Wonderful,
Okay.
thank you very much. And you want to say?
We speak, we have to do a language here. So my role here is to explain to our viewers what you have just said in Creole. Because I know you're familiar with several languages, multi-language country. Nous avons parlé puis ministère qui est responsable pour les affaires de l'environnement en Nigeria, excusez, avec il y a une délégation qui accompagne le président Tinubu. Il parlait de la situation de l'environnement Afrique qui presque concerne nous ici, mais comme l'Afrique c'est un place qui est trop plus grand, parce que nous-mêmes, peut-être plus mauvais. Il parlait de la situation Bola, mais il y a expérimenté. Et puis aussi, l'année ça nous a créé un désert, c'est une place qui est sec en pile, avec ça qui a affecté l'environnement. Il dit aussi, il y en a ces bails-là, il y a gardé pour planter plus bois. Combien il dit? 4 millions et billions de pieds bois. C'est y en a ces sites là, il y a essayé de garder pour garder. Mais en plus, ça, le ministère de l'Environnement dit, c'est important pour qualité de collaboration, ça là qui Saint-Lucie avec OICS là, j'ai commencé. Il a commencé trop tard. Mais il y a un commencement avec, il y a une chance qu'il a durer.
Honorable Minister, you've been very generous with your time. We thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And we're so very pleased that you have been able to join us here in St. Lucia. And we do hope that you wish you the very best for the rest of your stay.
That's what. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And of course, we've been speaking with the Minister of Environment from Nigeria, and he is the Honorable Balarab Abbas Lawal. Thank you very much. And we, in fact, are going to be...
Enjoy your stay.
Thank you.
And we are going to be, in fact, speaking...
I'm doing that.
All right, good.
I will not miss doing that.
All right.
Very much welcome.
Thank you.
Good. hold the mic.
Yeah.
Okay,
you
And
hold
of
on.
course, welcome. Thank you so very much, Honorable Minister Hannatu Musawa.
Yes.
And she is the Minister of Arts, Culture, and the Creative Economy.
Tourism and the creative economy.
Tourism as well. Oh, we were speaking to the perfect person because
Yes.
there's so many
Absolutely.
connections and
Yeah,
similarities,
yeah.
of course, in terms of the importance of the creative economy. We're seeing such amazing talent. I mean, coming out of Nigeria right now, everybody is hooked on Nollywood and the movies. They're also hooked on the Afro beats. But we're also seeing a very great desire of the cultural heritage aspect. I think just last week, the announcement of Benin bronzes being returned from a Netherlands museum to a Nigerian museum. Tell us about the state of affairs in terms of running such a massive country like Nigeria and so many different cultures and ethnic groups, and then yet still so much coming out of it.
Well, thank you very much for having me here. First of all, I just want to preface this by saying you have a breathtaking country and your people have been so receiving. And from the moment we walked off the aeroplane, I've just seen a reflection of my community. That's really what St. Lucia is. Nigeria is a huge, diverse community. As you would know, one of the largest population, the most populous nation in Africa. But beyond that, a very diverse country with at least 230 different tribes and ethnicities and languages as diverse as Chinese and German. And for us, we see that as a huge value. That is where our strength is, that is where our traditions are, that's where our ideals are. You speak about the creative industry. The creative industry really stems from what we had to offer from a cultural aspect. So, culture for us is really that element that we as an administration have come in to look to see how we can open up the vistas with the culture to create this economic growth that the president is committed to, and beyond that, job creation, within culture and the creative industry, and of course now with tourism. We are looking as an administration to really build an ecosystem and an enabling environment that will allow it to grow. Young Nigerians have done an astronomical job because what they have done is really organically really sort of opened up the creative industry. So now Nigeria is having a great moment with our Nollywood, with our Afro beats, with our fashion, and so much more. Now government is really putting up structures, proper structures in place, a proper framework that will open it up, that will allow the world to come into Nigeria to enjoy the experience of what that culture and what that creativity has to offer. And what we see in coming into St. Lucia is really an opportunity for great partnership in this respect. The music, the fashion, the thirst for culture and the thirst for life mirrors each other. So I think that's a great opportunity for us to see how we can work together. And of course, when you talk about tourism is really about the elements that you have to offer. People do come into St. Lucia not only because you have created a great environment for tourism, but also to experience the culture that you have here, right? Just the little elements of the tradition that you have here. So that's another area that we want to learn from St. Lucia. And I look at the different festivals that you have in St. Lucia. I mean, primarily the jazz and arts festival that you have. We want to key into that, to offer our own talent to come and perform in that, and also to offer St. Lucians and the Caribbean a gateway to come into Nigeria to experience and to see the Nollywood, how it's created, a sort of pilgrimage to come into Nigeria as well, and also to bring you into the different festivals that we have. The street festivals that you have every Friday mirrors, for example, the Calabar festival that we have in the Cross River. So let's see how we can have a partnership and collaboration direct with that. And of course, Dirty December is something phenomenal that has grown in Nigeria Nigeria. And we're looking at collaborating directly with the Caribbean so that the Caribbean come into Dirty December and have a Caribbean Day or Caribbean Week, and also to do something like a mini Olympics with the African and the diaspora, and of course Caribbean with the cricket and the football is something that we want to inculcate, and that will become like a yearly festival and an exchange of festival that we can have with both countries.
Yeah, we now have Julian Alfred, in fact, the world's fastest woman coming
well, there you go.
Lucia, so
exactly.
I'm sure she'd love to.
We would love to have her in Nigeria, absolutely.
Your president, in fact, mentioned the whole idea of cultural tourism, and I know many African countries, like Ghana, for example, have been pulling into that as well, that experience of persons in the diaspora, persons in the US and all over, to be able to visit Africa. Is that on the cards as well?
100%. I mean, Nigeria, in addition to, like, for example, the festivals that I've spoken about, we're doing a motherland. So we're inviting you to come back into Nigeria for Motherland, and we're actually expanding that to also explore the prospect of citizenship by investment. This is something that St. Lucia instigated. It started from St. Lucia. So we want to give anyone that has ancestral DNA from Nigeria the ability and a gateway and a pathway to have citizenship by investment, and also to have the ability to buy property in Nigeria. So definitely Nigeria, Motherland is one, and also open up the different opportunity to have a homecoming. Programming, intentional programming we're putting in place. And
One very quick question. You've been hearing a lot of calls for the teaching of African languages.
Yes.
Yoruba, for example.
Yes.
Is that something we could also partner with?
Absolutely. I mean, definitely, specifically with the Yoruba language, because as you would know, there's a whole global community out there of Yoruba descent that consider themselves still Yoruba. Their ancestors, their grandparents have never been to Nigeria, but they have been able to maintain that identity. So we are definitely looking at how we can offer that as part of the partnership, and also to create an ecosystem for the Orisha. Because there's a lot of people that practice the Orisha religion, so that is part of the religious pilgrimage that we are exploring. So I think it is quite surprising that this partnership was not established earlier than now, but it's never late, right? So this is a time that we, as a Nigerian government, are intentionally coming and really forcefully, and I can see from the St. Lucian and the Caribbean side as well, are really hungry. There's a huge appetite for this partnership, and this is what we intentionally are doing. And hopefully before I leave St. Lucia in the next few days, we will have an MOU for partnership in the area of art, culture, tourism, and the creative industry that we would have signed between the two nations.
Fantastic news indeed, and thanks so very much, Your Excellency, for being able to share with our audience here today at this very auspicious occasion.
And thank you for sharing this beautiful country with us. It really is a slice of heaven. It really is. Thank you.
Wonderful. Hope you feel right at home as a homecoming. Indeed.
I really do. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, we have an indigenous language here called Creole. So
we want to learn Creole as well. So if you can offer it to us, we would. You want to speak Creole to me?
Vous parlez Creole?
Je ne comprends pas. That's the only one I can. Oui, okay, thank you.
Ok. Ça, ministère pour touristes, et puis ça fait qu'il dit comme que il est tellement intéressé, il est tellement content pour participer à l'activité ça là ici à Jodia. Il est excité tout bonnement avec chaque opportunité pour développer plus culture, plus langage, il dit qui particulièrement langage Yoruba pour Saint-Lucien apprendre le langage avec eux-mêmes, puis échange en ligne ça là avec pour investissement. Il aussi parlait à ça fait et puis pour jeunes Nigériens venir Saint-Lucie avec enfin mélanger regarder qui manière Jean Saint-Lucie ça joue un bénéfice expérience là. Il dit Saint-Lucie c'est vraiment un bel pays. Il que Saint-Lucie c'est presque un morceau ciel. A piece of heaven, is that what you said?
It is a slice of heaven, it really is. Yeah.
OK. Merci un peu. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Merci beaucoup.
OK.
Très gentil, thank you.
D'accord, merci. Bon, nous avons préparé pour parler et puis en l'autre monde qu'on nous ici et puis c'est officier Nigeria. So, Claudia qui a parlé et puis en l'autre officiel délégation, nous avons essayé de garder plus pour parler puis après ça. Claudia?
Thank you, Michael. We are definitely looking forward to the perspective of the local community of Nigerians here in St. Lucia. Let us start by you introducing yourself and sharing with us a little about your background, your necklace, your headpiece. Give us an appreciation of all of the cultural elements that you were wearing. Let's start there.
Thank you. My name is Anthony Nze. I'm the leader of Nigerian community in St. Lucia. I reside here for a very long time. I think I know some of the cultures here as well. It's not far from our culture. Like you can hear the president and the prime minister mention something like that. So let's go to the culture. My attire. I'm a chief. Nigeria, titled chief. The hat is a symbol of chief, the necklace and the band.
Okay. And you're a real chief?
Real chief.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. And that is testimony of the rich cultural heritage which exists between the two countries, because we see a lot on television, but then it's always very interesting to have the opportunity to educate ourselves more meaningfully about Nigerian culture and vice versa. What does the state visit mean to you as a Nigerian living in St. Lucia and to the other members of the Nigerian community?
It is an exciting moment for us, and there's a surprise visit as well. It's an open door for both countries in terms of sharing cultures and investment. As if you listen properly to the speech, the president centered his speech on cultural and education. He said, President that believe in education and culture as well. A while ago, he spoke to the cultural minister. That's an indication of believing in culture. He came along the cultural minister, so you can study the culture here compared to ours. And the Prime Minister also opened doors for Nigerians visitors here as well, so we can share the culture together.
Okay, so then the culture is near and dear to your heart, is what you're saying?
Very much, very much. Nigeria is a country that depends on culture. It's cultural, structured country. The cultures come first before government.
Tell us a little bit about your association and the work that you do in the community.
Okay, the association has been here for over 10 years, and we engage in some of local activities in terms of assisting the elderly, charity. We base on charity, assisting the local in our own way. And also the main purpose of our association is, see, when you're away from home, the only way you can be home without being at home is you associate with your people, communicate and socialize, share our home and also here in St. Lucia, share our experience at home compared to where we live. Yeah.
And finally, how would you describe overall the future? What do you think the future holds for Nigeria and St. Lucia?
In terms of?
Well, we have a lot of initiatives which were mentioned, and it's just looking very bright for the future. And I am thinking that for the community who lives here, you have some perspective on this
First of all, I would like to appreciate the Prime Minister for this initiative. And the President also opened door for free scholarship for not just for St. Lucia, the entire Caribbean. And we as the Nigerian community, we want to know more what the Prime Minister have for the community as well. He also opened door for tourism, and we're expecting the same kind of exchange from the President in terms of exchange of scholarship as well, or something close to that.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure the Nigerian community will be observing and keeping pace with the developments henceforth. So,
thank you.
All the best.
Thank you for having me.
I
understand. Yes.
Okay, mais non encore c'est non
my name is Anthony.
Anthony qui est Saint Lucie, c'est lui qui est président association moun qui vivent en Jean Nigeria qui est un pays avec il très content ça a été dit non c'est manière il content pour visiter ça là mais habillement il dit qu'a montré comme c'est un chef c'est pourquoi m'appeler dit was mais en anglais nous avons dit tribe
chief
c'est right c'est chief ça c'est tribe là ben c'est was là il a créé en Nigeria il a créé Igbo il c'est yon là que kawai pas ça il a servi là avec couleur tout bagaille avec mais il a resté Saint-Lucie qui est bien content pour activité ça là et bien il a remercié Premier ministre Philippe J. Pierre pour faire l'occasion ça la fête et aussi pour grandir pas seulement pour Saint-Lucie mais pour Caraïbes là entier avec qui activité ça là qui apporte chaque bénéfice pour ni gens Afrique en Nigeria et puis aussi Saint-Lucie.
Thank you. One more person.
All right, so comme nous dit Lucia et puis Jean Nigeria puisque l'occasion c'est une occasion qui est bien spéciale avec nous oui merci Premier ministre qui mène l'activité là comme nous dit tout à l'heure nous avons différents monde qui fait présentation qui a parlé puis nous à présent nous avons préparé pour un prêtre qui a resté en Saint-Lucie Premier ministre en l'adresse dit prêtre la paroisse sorti Nigeria avec tout partout en Saint-Lucie l'année prête en Nigeria. So à présent Calix George qui a parlé et puis il y en a ces prêtres là qui a resté Saint-Lucie.
And of course, we are so thankful that Father Festus can join us here today at this joint sitting event. And of course, in fact, I think the Prime Minister made special mention of him as being one of the congregants. He, the Prime Minister, is one of his congregants at the Sacred Heart Church at Bishop's Gap in Marsha. Father Festus, of course, you're holding two hats. You are somebody who lives in St. Lucia, but you're actually a Nigerian by birth, and of course you are also a Catholic priest. For you, tell us about how you feel about seeing what is going on here today and this meeting of Nigeria and the Caribbean.
Okay, first of all, it's a mixed feeling that this congregation or the gathering today, I hope that will change the mixed feeling to a better feeling. First, the things that have been happening in Nigeria have not been the best ones. So I have hoped for a better future in Nigeria. So, and I hope the coming of the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to St. Lucia will bring good tidings, and especially with the connection. I don't think we are much connected. I mean, the OECS, especially St. Lucia, connected to Africa and to be specific to Nigeria. And that's the first, the president of Nigeria is visiting St. Lucia. So I hope there will be some positive outcome in terms of culture, music, games, and technology and other areas of life, so that being in St. Lucia for 11 years and in St. Lucia now, I'm looking forward to us connecting back to the roots. And it is very important that happens, because I see a lot of Nigerians want to become American and want to become British. Few people want to become African again. But it is important that they think towards that direction, and that's why I said from the beginning it's a mixed feeling, because we don't have the best in Africa.
And we know that Nigeria is very religiously diverse, Muslims, Christians.
Yes, and when we have the best over there, then the solutions and in general OECS will dream to become the Africans they are, right? And not dreaming to other places that they have no connection to.
Right, indeed. And there's a very large Nigerian diaspora in the United States, in North America. They too must be also looking at this movement as well, because I know a lot of them sometimes come on vacation here to St. Lucia.
Yeah, and so I heard a lot of talk shows, people ask a lot of questions. Why is he coming here? I think it is for the betterment of both countries. And now you will see that there are a lot of reasons for him to come here. The first reason, to connect back to my people. And you experience also the president of the place a lot of people originated from. That's first. And second, there will be a lot of good things that will come. They made mention of direct flight from the OECS states to Nigeria. It has limited the business transactions that should be taking place, and of course travels. And I'm sure if we have that, a lot of the OECS states would dream to go to Nigeria, to go to African countries. And of course, for me too, when I want to go and visit my mom, I don't want to go to the UK to go home. I don't want to go to the States to go home. I want to enter flight and get back and get to my mother's room, and not unnecessary stress.
Indeed, and we do hope that in fact comes to fruition very, very soon, hopefully. And of course, thank you so very much, Father Festus, of course, for sharing with us a little piece. Yes,
Father Festus,
pity, but less not good.
Not so good. You can. I will try my best to see if I can translate. But if you can join me, even better.
I hope I can join you next time.
Okay. Le Father Festus, c'est prêtre la paroisse en marchant avec. Il t'a dit comme que après il y a des l'idée, il n'est pas tellement excité puisque ça qui a fait là aujourd'hui fait sentir en différentes manières puisqu'il est content avec il pas tellement content en même temps puisque l'année a chaque difficulté un pays pour les humains, mais en même temps il y a chaque possibilité il dit pour Jean Kawaïb là venir ensemble avec il a fait plus à l'aise pour lui puisqu'en finissement ça il dit il est bien content que le président mentionne les affaires en voyage, il est plus à l'aise pour faire voyage, sortir Afrique, passer pour aller l'Angleterre et bien l'Amérique, quelque place comme ça. Il s'est allé direct. Avec lui, en chaque bagaille, il est content Saint-Lucie avec en Afrique.
Well, we've come to the end of a very intriguing morning here at the Sandals Grand.
Right.
Definitely history making in its own right.
I think it's the fourth of the events. Of course, the first one we saw at the airport, the arrival. We then also saw the courtesy calls which happened yesterday. And of course today, perhaps the crescendo in terms of the public events with this joint sitting of the Parliament of St. Lucia here. But he does continue tonight. Government House, there's a cocktail reception in the President's honor. And then tomorrow he will be visiting the South Louis Community College, in which he will also be interacting with some students, the staff of the college. We heard about, of course, the whole concept of cultural exchange, technical assistance and as well scholarship opportunities.
Yes.
So partnering across the Atlantic, and of course you'll also be paying some memory and homage to our two Nobel laureates, Sir Arthur Lewis and Sir Derek Walcott. And I should also mention that Derek Walcott and Wole Soyinka, two Nobel laureates. Soyinka from Nigeria was the first black man to win the prize for literature, and Sir Derek, the second one to win the prize for literature. They were very, very good friends and comrades. And in fact, Soyinka would visit Derek here on island, that's at his home. They would go on boat rides, and he really had a very strong relationship. And I think those two gentlemen sort of epitomize the kind of friendship that we hope to be able to achieve across the waters between our people here in the Caribbean and of course our ancestral home in Africa.
Avec pour elle, quand nous avons fini, je suis bien content. C'est un moment qui a une significance, mais pour moi, c'est le Premier ministre qui dit c'est une 27 l'année depuis Nelson Mandela à Saint-Lucie, avec une 27, mettez 27 en différentes manières, à quoi dire, il y a une significance en l'occasion comme ça, avec à quoi dire, en l'occasion ça, il y a une libération, avec un grand pas devant pour Afrique, Nigeria, et puis Saint-Lucie, et puis c'est OICS.
Merci, Michael. It was a pleasure having you, dear viewers. We do hope you enjoyed this session of the joint sitting of the Senate and the House of Assembly. On behalf of my fellow commentators, I am Claudia Monlouis saying goodbye. See you at the departure.
Good.